In a small apartment in Bondy, France, a boy around 10 years old made a promise to a poster. Cristiano Ronaldo stared down at him, and the boy stared back. "One day," he said. "One day." In Bondy, a working-class suburb northeast of Paris, they don't build superstars, they build survivors. But in 2010, a 12-year-old boy with a Ronaldo poster and an unstoppable left foot began to change that. The boy, Kylian Mbappé, steps onto a worn concrete pitch. He dribbles, he accelerates. The ball moves faster than seems possible. And watching from the sideline, always watching, was his mother, Fayza Lamari, a former handball player, a woman who understood that talent means nothing without a plan. Her arms are crossed, her eyes never leave her son. Bondy, early 2000s, postcode 93140. The banlieue of Paris, tower blocks, train tracks, a place that rarely makes the news unless something has gone wrong. But here, in the shadow of the Paris skyline, something was about to go very right. Wilfried Mbappé was a coach, a man who understood the game, who had played it himself. He saw his son's talent before the boy could even tie his own boots. A young Kylian, barely old enough to walk, kicks a ball against a wall. His father watches from a distance, a smile playing on his lips. But Fayza, a former professional handball player, was different. She wasn't just a parent, she was a competitor. A former handball player who knew what it took to reach the top and what it cost to stay there. Fayza Lamari said, "From the beginning I told him, talent is not enough. You must work, you must sacrifice, you must be the best, not just good." At 6 years old, Kylian joined AS Bondy, the club where his father coached. He was small, too small some said, but size, as his mother told him, was a problem to be solved, not an excuse. He runs onto a pitch in a mismatched kit. He scores again, he scores again. During training sessions, Fayza timed his sprints, counted his goals, watched his diet. She ran the household like a training camp. Sleep, food, school, football. In that order, with no room for negotiation. Hour after hour, Fayza stands behind the goal, timing him, stopwatch in hand and no smile. His father coached, his mother managed. Together, they built a system, a machine designed for one purpose, to give their son the chance they never had. Wilfried, on the training ground, corrects Kylian's technique, a quiet, patient voice alongside his mother's steel. At 11 years old, the call came. Clairefontaine, the most famous academy in France, the National Academy. The gates are tall, the buildings are grand, the place where France's best young players are forged, the elite of the elite. They tested him, they measured him, they watched. Dozens of boys, all talented, all desperate. Kylian stands out, not just for his feet, but for his eyes. He sees the game differently, faster. They were astonished. A coach at Clairefontaine shakes his head in wonder. "He's special," he says. "Different." The coaches had a word for him. Precocious. Too good, too fast, too young. But Fayza had another word for it. Inevitable. At Clairefontaine, Kylian dominated. But his parents saw what the academy couldn't provide. The facilities are good, but not great. The competition is limited. He needs more. He needed to play against men. He needed professional football. Now, the offers came from everywhere. Real Madrid wanted him at 14. Bayern Munich flew him to Germany. Manchester City offered a contract and a house for his family. The world's biggest clubs were circling a boy who hadn't yet shaved. Fayza and Wilfried sit at a kitchen table, papers spread before them. Offers from top clubs across Europe. Fayza holds up a contract. Her face is stern. "Not yet," she says. "He's not ready. He needs the right environment." Most parents would have taken the money, the fame, the security. Fayza said no, not yet. He wasn't ready. He needed a place that would develop him, not just display him. The family visits Monaco, a smaller club with a reputation for building stars, developing young talent, not just buying them. Fayza walks the grounds, inspecting everything. She is not easily impressed. A stepping stone, not a destination. For Fayza, it was perfect. The negotiations took months. Fayza sits across from Monaco executives. She is calm, prepared, unyielding. She knows exactly what she wants. Fayza demanded playing time guarantees. She demanded a clear development path. She demanded what no parent of a 14-year-old had ever demanded: respect for her son's future, not just his present. In 2015, at just 14 years old, Kylian Mbappé signed for AS Monaco. His mother stands behind him, one hand on his shoulder. He was the youngest player in their history, the most hyped, the most watched. Kylian Mbappé said, "My mother always said, you have the talent, but talent without work is nothing. And work without a plan is just running in circles." At Monaco, Kylian did not wait. He trained like a man possessed. He scored, he assisted, he made the older players look slow. November 2015. Kylian warms up on the sideline. A boy who had just turned 16 stepped onto a professional pitch for the first time. The youngest debutant in Monaco's history. The record would not last long, because soon the goals would come. February 2016. Kylian scores his first professional goal, another record. He is 16 years, 3 months old, the youngest goal scorer in Monaco's history. His parents watched from the stands. Fayza's arms, for once, were not crossed. They were raised in triumph. The 2016-2017 season changed everything. Monaco, a team of young players, shocks Europe. Monaco won the league. They reached the Champions League semi-finals, and Kylian Mbappé became the most exciting teenager in world football. 26 goals that season. The boy from Bondy, now a man on the biggest stages. 8 in the Champions League, the youngest player to score in a Champions League semi-final. The world took notice. The Sharks began to circle again. And in the background, Fayza worked at her desk. Phones ring, emails flood in. She is no longer just a mother. She is an agent, a strategist, a CEO. She studied contracts. She analyzed offers. She planned every move years in advance. The mother who timed her son's sprints now timed his career with the same precision. 2017, the bidding war. Kylian and his mother meet with top clubs. Real Madrid, the club of his childhood idol. PSG, the club of his city. Manchester City, the club of unlimited money. Every offer more extravagant than the last. Real Madrid offered everything. Zinedine Zidane, his idol's coach, made the call himself. "Come to Madrid," he said. "Become a legend." PSG offered something else. More money, home, the chance to play for his city, his region, the place his family called home. Bondy was a 20-minute drive from the Parc des Princes. The decision was his, but the process was hers. Fayza prepared a dossier, pro and con, short-term glory versus long-term legacy, money versus development, Madrid versus Paris. She speaks to him not as a mother to a child, but as an advisor to a king. She lays out the options. She does not decide for him. Kylian looks at a map. His finger traces from Bondy to Paris, then to Madrid. He thinks. He decides. In the end, Kylian chose Paris. He chose home. He chose the chance to build something in the place that built him. Kylian Mbappé says, "My mother taught me that the right decision is not always the easiest. Sometimes the best path is the one that takes time." 2017. Kylian Mbappé became a Paris Saint-Germain player. The fee? 180 million euros. The boy from Bondy, who had promised a poster he would be great, now carried a price tag that made the world gasp. He is 18 years old, the second most expensive teenager in history. The money came, the fame came, the endorsements, the magazine covers, the comparisons to legends. But through it all, the family remained the center. A photograph of the Mbappé family. Fayza never stopped. She hired lawyers, agents, accountants. She built a structure around her son that could withstand anything. The mother who timed sprints now timed contracts, image rights, endorsements. She became the architect of an empire. 2018. Kylian lifts trophies. World Cup champion. 19 years old. The second teenager after Pelé to score in a World Cup final. His mother in the stands, not crying, not cheering, just watching. Always watching. 2021. Tensions rise between Kylian and PSG. Contract negotiations stalled. The Madrid dream returned. Real Madrid made their move, an offer of 200 million euros. Kylian wanted to go. For a moment, it seemed inevitable. The saga dominates headlines, Fayza and Kylian in a room. Fayza reminded Kylian of the plan, the long game. Paris was his city. His story there was not finished. If he left now, he would always wonder what he left behind. May 2022. In a decision that shocked football, Kylian Mbappé stayed. He signed a new contract with PSG, a record deal, unprecedented power. He chooses to stay. Today, Kylian Mbappé is one of the most famous athletes on earth. Captain of France, captain of PSG, the man who was supposed to leave, who stayed. Kylian stands on a pitch in Bondy. Children gather around him, asking for autographs, wanting to touch the legend. But when he returns to Bondy, he walks with his mother. In Bondy, there is a mural of Kylian Mbappé. But if you look closely, in the corner, there is another figure, a woman with crossed arms. Watching, the world sees the goals, the speed, the €180 million price tag. But Fayza sees something else. She sees the boy who promised a poster he would be great. Kylian Mbappé has become what he promised. The fastest, the youngest, the most expensive. But ask him who made it possible, and he gives the same answer. My mother. She taught me that talent is a gift, but discipline, that is a choice. And she made sure I made the right one, every day. In football, we celebrate the star, but this story shows us it's the mother in the shadows who builds the stage. This has been Career Footsteps. Subscribe for more journeys.